It was around for a nanosecond or two in the early 2000s. Well, it's making its return on this edition of Test Drive, the Lincoln Aviator. The Lincoln Aviator bridges the gap between the Corsair and overblown Navigator, and it's offered in two distinctly different models, the Reserve and the Grand Touring plug-in hybrid. The latter adds a 13.6 kilowatt-hour battery that allows around 35 kilometers of electric-only driving. It also adds a healthy dose of spice to the drive. In the end, it is a very distant relative to the 2003 model that wore the same badge. Now, the cabin is elegant in its simplicity, and it is absolutely loaded in this top model. 30-way power seats and a really nice infotainment screen, a big 10-incher. The problem is, whenever you hook up Apple CarPlay, you cannot use the built-in navigation system. Rather, you're using data and the mapping that's on the phone. If you want to use the free maps, well, you've got to do one of two things. Disable it in the system or unplug it. Either way, the loss of functionality is a royal pain. The Aviator is offered with two different powertrain options. The first is a conventional 3-litre turbo V6 that makes 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. It is a proud engine in its own right. However, the plug-in hybrid combines the same engine with an electric motor that twists out 101 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. This bumps the net system output to 494 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque. The difference is, well, immediately noticeable. Adding an electric motor to an already potent turbo V6 really does make this thing very quick. It'll get its riders to 100k in 5.8 seconds. But what's remarkable is this thing weighs about 2,500 kilograms. Now, by way of reference, that's roughly the same weight as a blue whale's tongue. Now you know. Both engines work with a 10-speed automatic that drives all four wheels. In a twist, the Aviator uses a rear-drive platform that sends the power forward when all-wheel drive is needed. The system is proactive, so it responds to wheel slip, and it anticipates a loss of grip and reapportions the torque accordingly. Lincoln Drive Mode has 7 basic functions that allows the driver to influence how everything works. Normal is for everyday use, Excite sharpens things up. The rest are surplus to need. The hybrid model then adds an EV mode that forces it to use the battery whenever possible, and a conserve mode that saves the battery for use at a later time. Now, if you happen to get relegated to the rear seat, there's no need to fret. These bucket seats are beautifully comfortable, there's lots of headroom and lots of legroom. And for once, the third row, well, it's almost usable. I say almost, it's better than walking in the rain. Now, when you move back here, you'll also find lots of cargo space. Pop the tailgate. With the seats in the upright position, you have 520 litres of cargo space. However, push 2 buttons, the third row folds down, and when you fold the second row flat, you've now got 2,200 litres of cargo space, which is more than enough to schlep the kid to college. The adaptive suspension makes the Aviator both comfortable and surprisingly good at keeping things flat. It works with an adaptive steering setup. Based on driver demand and vehicle speed, the system alters the amount of input required. In the end, it makes it easier to maneuver at slow speeds and sharpens things up at speed. Given the Aviator tips the scales at a lumbering 2,576 kilograms, the combination makes it feel less ponderous. The exception is the brake pedal feel. It is numb because of the regen side of things. You know, I really learned to like the Jekyll and Hyde personality of this Lincoln Aviator. The Jekyll side is all about the green side of motoring. Put the hammer down and that's when Hyde appears. This thing really is very fast. It comes together very nicely indeed, albeit at a price.
So here's the question, where were you 32 years ago? I know some of you weren't even a glint in your father's eye. As for me, well, I was in diapers, but found time to get Motoring TV off the ground. And today I like to think we've got one of the best automotive video libraries in the world. If you agree, please give us the thumbs up and also subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.